And welcome back. Or if you're new here, just welcome. My name is Rusty, and this is my channel where I talk about me favorite horror movies, me favorite movies mostly horror, and me favorite music mostly metal. And me and Damien are going to count down my top 10 best horror of 2022. Now, this is a little late compared to everyone else, but this was the issue. First of all, two of the movies on my top 10 were not released on physical until the end of December, so I had to wait for them. Then we have the United States Post Office doing its usual stellar job at screwing things up. And one of my movies that was shipped from New Jersey to Florida, but the USPS decided that my DVD did not need to come to Florida, that my DVD from New Jersey, or my Blu-ray from New Jersey, what it actually needed, in their opinion, was a cross-country vacation to view the Pacific. So a few days after it was sent, I checked the tracking, and my movie is in Seattle, Washington. And I thought, Seattle, Washington? Like Kurt Cobain, Courtney Love, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains kind of Seattle, Washington? But New Jersey to Florida, East Coast, straight down the interstate. Seattle, Washington, next to Canada, viewing the Pacific. How does that occur? So that's the reason why I'm a little late. Now, three of the movies on my top 10, which of course I would want my top 10 in my collection, are not, because they have not been released on physical yet. And who knows if they will, considering the streaming nightmare. I know this first one will be. I don't know about the other two. I'm very nervous about that. If so, I'll just have to download and make my own, because you're not going to force me to pay you money to see a movie on a streaming service. I'm not going to pay you a subscription just to see a movie and have it for whenever I want to watch it. I will, of course, pay you to see it, but I'm not going to pay you to have it available for me to see whenever I want. That's just stupid. But so we're here on a happier note to talk about the top 10 best horror of 2022. These are the films that really melted my butter. They just melted me butter all over the biscuit. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. So, coming in at number 10, I cannot hold it up for you because I do know that the release of it is very, very soon. But that will be The Menu, starring Ray Fiennes, Anna Taylor-Joy, and Nicholas Hoult, and directed by Mark Mylod. That movie I do know is being released on physical, and so I will get it as soon as it comes out, just like I did all of the others. But The Menu, wow, I'm always like really thrilled when I get to see something that's like new and unique, and I'm like, it doesn't have any of the tropes that I'm used to, which is fine. I love my tropes. I mean, you can give me a Friday the 13th every year if it's good. You can kill the same group of pretty young people in various creative ways, and I will eat it up as a slasher fan, But I do love when something comes along that's really interesting. A young couple travels to a remote island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish meal with some shocking surprises. Yeah, I would say so. And I'm trying to keep these spoiler-free, or as spoiler-free as possible for me. But The Menu, Bradley Cooper was phenomenal. The story was phenomenal. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of comedy horror, but the comedy was done really well in this movie. while retaining the horror of the situation that you find yourself in. So, it says awards, 1 win, and 43 nominations. I don't know what all that is, but obviously it's been nominated for a bunch. But yeah, I love the menu. I loved everything about it. I can't wait to get my hands on it so that I can watch it whenever I want to. And I rated it an 8 out of 10. It's a fantastic movie. And yeah, so what are your thoughts on it? Now we move on. My seat keeps wanting to slide out from under me. Maybe it's all that melted butter, yeah. But number 9 is The Cursed. Now, The Cursed was released in February of 2022, and I've always noticed on people's lists that, like, movies from the first 6 months are not as prevalent as the last 6 months. I think as people forget about them or whatever, and they go. But I try to, when I think of my top 10, I try to include the whole year, and so yeah, The Cursed. In rural 19th century France, a mysterious, possibly supernatural menace, werewolves, threatens a small village. John McBride, a pathologist, comes to town to investigate the danger and exorcise some of his own demons in the process. This is a very interesting werewolf movie. I will definitely do it during Wolf Week because it's not quite traditional Gothic village 19th century, and it has to do with gypsies and curses, and I don't want to give away too much. A certain set of teeth, and maybe cursed teeth. But yeah, The Cursed, directed by Sean Ellis, and it stars Boyd Holbrook, Kelly Riley from Eden Lake, and Prime Suspect, and 11 by 11, or is it 10 by 10? 10 by 10, which is a movie I got to watch over there. But I love Kelly Riley she was the girl in Eden Lake, that if you ever see that movie, you will never forget it. Alistair Petrie. So yeah, The Cursed is a fantastic werewolf movie, really good addition to the genre. It has a lot of cool surprises in it and is a little bit not what you would expect. It's not quite as traditional, but yet it is a werewolf movie. So yeah, that is number 9. And now we move on to number 8. Now, number 8 is very, very controversial. And don't even try. I'm not going to take any of your shit. But I'm sorry that I can't fall on whatever side of the fence you fall on. I'm too stubborn, and I'm too much of a cinema fan, and I've got 2,000 plus movies. I can't be swayed by the mob rules. Mob means nothing to me. I don't care if everybody hates it. I do not need to be part of the crowd. I do not have to be part of the crowd, and I won't be part of the crowd. So, number 8 is Halloween Ends. Yes, I know. You people who have fallen out can get up now. Halloween Ends is fine with me. I liked it. I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it an 8 out of 10, or is it 9 out of 10? But I love the trilogy. There is no such thing as a perfect for you unless you made it yourself, and then you might not even be happy with it. I think that they should have introduced him, Corey. I think they should have introduced him earlier in the trilogy. But that's pretty much it. I know Well, Michael's not in there very much. And I know all of I've heard it. I didn't pay attention to much of it as far as like giving a shit, but I did hear it all. I heard the fight. I heard the screaming and whining and crying and tears of joy and tears of tragedy. But I make up my own mind, and I really loved Halloween Ends. I really liked it. And I kind of see what they did there. You had to make a way to start the shit all over again, didn't you? Come on, people. Of course they did. And if that's the case, I think they did a decent job of giving it a new start, because you know what's going to happen now. Or I'm sorry, you know what could happen now. But in any event, I love this trilogy. I love watching them all together. I am fine with it. I do not hate it. It is on my top list. Deal with it. It is on my top list. It comes in at number 8, which is not where I would expect a Halloween movie to come in. The other two would have ranked, on their, particular years, ranked higher than 8. But it's still my top 10 of 2022. So, yes. Halloween Ends, Jamie Lee Curtis, Andy Mychak, James Jude Courtney. Sorry, I like it. And that's the end of that. Okay, coming in at number 7, we have directed by, and I'm doing this so that maybe you can try to guess right before I say it. But it's directed by Matt Bertolini-Olpin and Tyler Gillett, and it stars Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox and David Arquette. So it must be fucking Scream 5, yeah? So this is how I picked it up, because I also wanted to upgrade my DVDs. I have the box set of the Scream DVDs, but I found this, and it's 5 and the original on their own discs together in a little combo pack. So yes, I absolutely loved Scream 5. I liked the new characters. Well, most of them. I really hated one of them, but I liked the new characters. I liked the story was decent. The story was really good. I liked the way that they brought it all together. I, of course, loved the legacy characters coming back. There is, of course, only one thing I hated about it, and I am sure I don't have to tell you what that is. I will. But if you can't guess the problem that I have with this movie, you have not watched my channel before. And that is, you fucking killed my Dewey. I would have rather you killed Gail and Sydney. You could have killed them all day long and left me Dewey. You killed fucking Dewey, and I admit that really pissed me off. But since I put you at number 7 on my top 10 of 2022, obviously it didn't piss me off enough to make me hate you. It just pisses me off enough to make me probably warn you not to come to a party where I'm sitting, Mr. Ryder. Kevin, give me some breathing room for a year or two before I see you in person. Because you took Dewey, and that's not acceptable. But this movie was really great. I loved it. I think the performances were great. I'm glad Gail has a normal haircut. And I love bangs. She looks great in bangs. She should have bangs right now. Bangs are at your eyebrow, baby, not at the top of your head. That's not a bang. I don't know what that is, but it wasn't bangs. But yeah, Scream 5, number 7 on my top 10 list of 2022. And we will now move on to number 6, directed by Parker Finn, written by Parker Finn, starring Sosie Bacon, Jesse Usher, and Kyle Gallner, and that means it must be Smile. This movie was just cool as fuck to me. So yeah, I really liked Smile. I liked the concept. I liked the execution. I know a lot of people had problems like with the ending, like, oh, that was a little too much. And I'm like, oh, well, you know, you can put too much sugar in your coffee. Everybody has different tastes. It wasn't too much for me. I liked it. I liked everything about it. I think Sosie Bacon did an absolute great job. Parker Finn did a great job of writing and directing this. So, this supernatural curse type thing, evil, demonic spirit. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the, he was always singing that song, John Goodman and Denzel Washington. What was that movie? That's what this reminded me of. That's what this reminded me of. Right now at this moment, I hadn't thought of that. And it's sitting right over there. I know it is. Denzel Washington, John Goodman. And it was a movie about like this, the spirit that flowed through people. And he was always like singing this song. I can't think of it. But yeah. That reminded me of it. If you think of it, I mean, I'll look it up. What the fuck? I wouldn't know how to look it up. Well, I mean, I would, but I mean, is it going to come to me before I hit enter? Is it going to come to me before I hit enter? No, it's not. Fallen. No, I saw it. But the movie Fallen, yeah, Denzel Washington, Donald Sutherland, John Goodman was in it, and he played the police detective who was investigating occult murders. And that guy was always whenever the person got possessed, like in this movie, in this movie they smile, they have that smile, but in that movie you could always tell who Aziel or whoever it was that was like traveling through the bodies. You could always tell who he was in by singing that song. He was singing that song that I can't think of. But this movie reminded me of it, of Fallen. And I really liked it. I really, really liked Smile. So Smile comes in at number 6 in my top 10 of 2022. And now we are up to number 5 of 2022. And I can't hold it up because not only has it not been released, but I don't know if it will be released on physical. I do know a couple of collectors told me that they've already went and downloaded HD, a high def rip, and made their own Blu-rays and DVDs, and that is 2022's, directed by Dan Trachtenberg, written by Patrick Olson, and stars Amber Midthunder, Dakota Beavers, and Dame DeLegro, and that is Prey. Okay, I absolutely love fucking Prey. Well, I don't love fucking Prey. You know what I mean. But, yeah, I love Prey. Prey was so good. I think I watched it like 3 times in a row that day when I first saw it. I think it was on BitChute that I saw it. And I was like, oh, gosh, they got Prey. Somebody's got Prey. And I went and I watched it. And I'm like, is this going to be all right? I didn't have high hopes or anything. I watched it and I was like, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, let's refresh the page and watch that again. And I think over the next 36 hours, I watched it 3 times. I absolutely love that movie. It's great. Now, is it going to be released? I don't know. It's Hulu. I don't know. I wish Shudder had done it, or somebody that releases their stuff. But if they don't release it, I know that 20th Century Fox bankrolled it, right? So maybe they will, but if they don't release it, I will do like the other collectors I know, and that is I will go and download a a high def copy for free. And that's what these places like Hulu need to understand is you're not going to force me to do that. I am not going to do that. If you want to make any money from me, you will release it at the theaters. You will make a physical copy for me to buy. But I am not going to pay you $14.99 a month just to have access to some movies that I want to see when I want to see them. And you can remove them and take them. No, I'm not going to pay you over and over and over again to see this movie. So if you don't release it, I will just go and take it for free. It's up to you, dude. Whatever you want to do. Hulu, all those other stupid, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, what's the other, Peacock, or is that Paramount? I don't know. Peacock, all them stupid places. All right. If you want to make money off of me or other people, then do it, but you're not going to force me. So there you go. So yes, number 5 is Prey. I don't have any of the Predator movies that I dislike. Requiem, I had issues with Requiem, but the uncut director's version, it's still watchable. It's just like mediocre or nothing. The only Predator movie I had a problem with was that newest one, Predator. The Predator. That was so fucking stupid. I was embarrassed at how stupid that movie was. So to see Prey come back really refreshed and redeemed the franchise, and I would like to see more. It doesn't have to be her. It doesn't have to be set here, but something like this, something that does the franchise justice, because the only thing that didn't do it justice, I think Alien vs. Predator Requiem still did it justice. It was just like, let's just drop some aliens and have them fuck up a town. No real story to it at all. There was literally no story in Requiem. But the last 5 minutes were like one of the most phenomenal scenes in any Predator movie, and that's where the thing comes out of his the Predator's body, and the alien comes out of his chest with it's a little alien Predator hybrid, and you're like, oh shit, that ship's going down. So I would have loved to seen them pick up right there. You know what I mean? Don't have to have humans. Let's just see what it happens when a Predator alien hybrid gets loose on a Predator ship. That would have just been a cool movie in and of itself. You know what I mean? So think about it. But yeah, so I love Prey. I hope they release it on physical so I can have it. And that takes us to the same issue. And that is number 4. Number 4 is directed by Zach Greger and written by Zach Greger, and it stars Georgina Campbell, Bill Skarsgård, and Justin Long. And that is, I so wish I had it in my hand, and that is Barbarian. Barbarian is fucking pretty much flawless. It's just flawless. Just everything about it. There were points that, like, you're like taken to the edge, and it's like, is this just gonna turn into shit? And then they're like, no, I was just showing you the water down there. It's okay, come with me. And I kind of liked that, like when they switched from her and him at the house, and then all of a sudden you're with Justin Long in that car going down the road, and you're like, because you just got the shit scared out of you, number one. And then all of a sudden, it's like, scream. And then it just clicks, and all of a sudden you're like riding down the road with Justin Long, whom I wanted to literally pull out the car and beat the hell out of in the middle of the road singing that song. But it was still cute, but I still wanted to hurt him over it. But, it switched to that. And then, of course, later on, you have where it switches to the guy in the 70s, or I mean, the early 80s, going to the grocery store, getting into the lady's house, pretending to be a repairman. So you had these little spots in the movie that kind of like, like a bump in the road that you were like, what just happened? And then I love the way that he made it work. He made it work because you like felt the bump, and it discombobulated you for just a second. And then all of a sudden I still remembered her and them back at the house, but now I was all of a sudden into him and his story. And then it like all three of these things came back together, and I just thought it was phenomenal. Phenomenal writing, phenomenal acting. She was great. Bill was great. Justin Long was great. I mean, everything about this movie was perfection. And I will be like really upset if they do not release this. And I mean, it's fine. Like I said, like I just said in the last one, it's fine. I can just go and download a high def 4 gigabyte file of the movie, the highest def possible, and stick it on a disc and just have it for whenever I want to. And that's what will happen if you do not give this movie to me to buy any other way. It's up to you. Your choice. It got nothing to do with it, man. People always want to scream, pirating? Copyright? Dude, you need to go read the law, okay? I didn't say I wanted to go and get it, burn off a bunch of discs, and sell it to all my neighbors. That's what's illegal. What I said was, if you don't give me the movie to buy, then you must not want my money, and I'll just go get a copy for me privately on a disc for myself. That's your fault, not mine. Debate that at your leisure. So, there we go. Number 4, fantastic movie, Barbarian. It is just everything that I could want in a horror movie is there. And yeah. So, moving on to number 3. This should be really easy for you. This is directed by Ty West. And it's written by Ty West and Mia Goth, and stars Mia Goth, David Cornsweet, and Tandy Wright. And it is Pearl. Pearl. Okay. Now this is actually a tie. Pearl is number 3 because X was released first. So you know what's number 2. So, yeah. Pearl, I don't know what to say. It's one of those movies that just left me speechless with joy. Mia Goth is an absolute goddess of acting and of creating this character. And Ty West is a god in these 2 movies. So it's like a god and a goddess got together, and it's like, what can we create? And they created Pearl. And everything about this movie was, again, because now we're in my top 5, so we're in perfection. Like I said, there's not really perfection about any movie for anybody, because unless you had everything perfect just like you like it, you're always going to see some little thing that you would like, well, I think, I would have liked this one little thing. So there's always going to be one little thing that, because it's not yours, I didn't make this, so there's always going to be some little thing that you personally would have in it that wasn't there or wished it was there. But that doesn't take away from the fact that as an experience, it's perfect. And Pearl is perfect. My God, her ability to go from sane to psychotic is a masterstroke. This movie is a masterpiece, and Ty West just really outdid himself with this. And him and her make an obvious great team. So, yeah, that brings us, of course, to X, which is number 2. The only reason Pearl was number 3 was because it came out after X. So, X and Pearl are 2 and 3, whichever side you want to put them on. They are 2 very different movies, that's true. They are 2 very different movies. One is sort of like a psychotic psycho character study, and the other is a good old-fashioned slasher, but yet they're still the same emotionally, like a horror love, my love of horror. That's part of the genius of these 2 movies, is that they are 2 different subgenres, and they provoke 2 different behaviors in you as a movie lover, yet it's the same people and it's the same joy. That's what it is. They're different movies, but they bring the same joy to me. They just bring it to me in 2 different ways. It's sort of like this plate of cheesecake brought me this joy and satisfaction. And this plate of red velvet cake brought me this satisfaction. Now, these are 2 totally different things, but they bring me the same joy. And that is what these 2 movies did, was bring me the same joy. And it was the second and third most joyous moments of my life for the year of 22 in watching cinema was X and Pearl. Finding out that she played both Pearl in that and in Pearl in this. I really didn't know that. I did not know the old lady in X was Mia Goth. I didn't know that. I found it out after I watched it, and I was like, ooh, I have to pay attention to that shit next time. And I did, and she was amazing. They were amazing to be able to do that. And that, folks, brings us to number 1, and I'm sure some of you out there could be going, well, he hasn't mentioned this, so that's probably it. Or he hasn't, but you don't know. You never know, really. You may know. I know. You may know. And I'm sure in just a second you will know. And that is, it was directed by Scott Derrickson. It was written by Joe Hill and Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill. And it stars Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, and Ethan Hawke. So it must be The Black Phone. It gets the prize for me, and my list is The Black Phone. Masterpiece, perfection, except for the couple of little things I would have done differently, which we just discussed. We're always going to have this little thing that I just wish you would have done this. I just wish you would have done that. But it's okay. You're still perfect. You're still beautiful. You're still perfect. I just still wish you'd have done this little thing. I would have done this little thing. So, yeah. But Ethan Hawke was absolutely phenomenal in this movie. The cast was phenomenal. The story was phenomenal. I wish it had been, like I told you about the little things, I wish it had been more bloody. I wish it had played up a couple of things more than it did. But that's every movie. I can find you something that I would have done different because I think I'm all that. And you do too. And you do. You could have done Star Wars better. You could have done Close Encounters of the Third Kind better because you would have done this. You still love it, but you'd have done this little thing and changed this little scene and done this. So yeah, I wish it was like a little more gory, a little more bloody. And I wish that had made him, and this is like impossible to understand. I wish that had made him a little more menacing in a certain way. And a lot of people are probably going, God damn, man, he was like a creepy. How could you be any more menacing than that? There's something that I would have preferred him to be doing. There was a little thing that I think should have been played up more, that they kind of kept a little under the radar, and you're kind of like, we'll just let you kind of think about it and come to your own conclusions. And that's fine. I like that. If you've ever seen Agnes of God, it's pretty much the most movie to explain that particular trope, leaving an ending to your own decision. The person next to you is going to go, oh no, this is what happened, and the other one's going to go, no, this is what happened. And it's all personal. In the Black Phone, there were a couple of things that they were left like, well, I don't know. You tell me what he's doing. You tell me what the kid meant on the phone when he said what he said. Well, I think it's this. And another person would go, well, I think it's this. So that's what I meant by, I wish they'd have played up a couple of things a little bit more, but that doesn't take away. As is, it is perfection. It is a masterpiece. And Ethan Hawke was absolutely phenomenal in it. And yeah, so you have, again, let's go down them. Number 10 was The Menu. Number 9 was The Cursed. Number 8 was Halloween Ends. Number 7 was Scream 5. Number 6 was Smile. Number 5 was Prey. Number 4 was Barbarian. Number 3 was Pearl. Number 2 was X. And number 1 was The Black Phone. So, yeah. That is my joy. That is my top 10 of 2022. I'm sure yours would be different, and I would love to know it. Just like on the worst, I would love to know your best. I would be very interested. Point me to your channel, or point me to, or write your list. I would love to know what you consider the top 10 best horror of 2022. I know a lot of people would include The Egg or The Hatching or whatever that thing was. I don't know. Like I said, everybody's got different tastes. But, I mean, I've seen quite a few top lists. And I think I mostly agreed with most of them. There was little things here and there that I was like, I don't know. But that's the way it's supposed to be. It really is the way it's supposed to be. So, let me know what you think, if anything, about it. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. And I do love you, miss you, bye. And always remember, never forget, you're a very, very special person, even if you don't recognize the brilliance and the genius and the absolute joy and masterpiece nature of these 10 movies that I say is the top 10 best of 2022 in horror. Yeah, so you're still special, even if you don't agree. I love you, miss you, bye. I'll see you in the next video, which should be my December update to my collection. And I will see you whenever I get to sit down and start Wolf Week. Choosing the movies for it. I think I've got them all. The 7 that I want to do in a row of werewolf movies. I think I've chosen them all. But yeah, I will see you in that. Love you, miss you. Bye-bye. And have a great 2023. And here's to more. Let's hope that we have as wonderful a year of horror as we had in 2022, because it was phenomenal. See you then. Bye-bye. Yes, I hit the wrong button.